to the show, Jim Jackson Show, of course, and I got a special guest. Now, it's the off season a little bit. I don't know if the NBA really has an off season, you know, with Summer League and free agency and everything like that going on, but not a lot of news going on, so I like to switch up the podcast a little bit, get different guests in, especially when it's someone that's close, that's like family, you know. So I had to be able to get, like, my brother on the show this week, Mr. Shawn Stockman from Boyz II Men. You may have heard of the name and heard of the group, of course. Grammy Award-winning group, also podcaster himself, solo artist, businessman, everything else. But I wanted to get him on to talk about not just the Boyz II Men, but fatherhood, about life.
Yeah.
You know, all the things that entail what success is, the challenges within that space. So I appreciate you joining me this week.
Come on, brother. You know, it's all good. You know, and fun fact, this man is also the godfather to my son.
Yeah, how about that?
So, you know, this is real family here. This isn't like just a pull up on some business. Like, we're going to sit and have a conversation. This is not an interview.
No,
we're actually sitting and we're talking. This is your
and you see what we have here too. So we have we have a piece, an instrument here that is.
Now, he said to bring it.
Yeah, I did.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Which is good.
But I'm gonna wing it, I guess.
No, there's never a wing with that.
We'll improv.
So how you been, man? What's going on? Give me
great. Been beautiful, man. Just me and the guys are all still on the road. Here's the misconception about the music industry. A lot of people tend to think that if you're not in the mainstream media cycle, that, oh, you're not doing anything, which is furthest from the case.
Sure,
like, you know, me and the guys have been working since we've been out. You know, we've been in the business for 33 years, and God has blessed us with the ability to still tour the planet and still manage to do music that seems like people still enjoy, which we're appreciative. And I just got back, actually. We just got back this morning, or late last night, from Curacao.
Really?
Yeah, we were in Curacao for a few days and did a show out there. We got an orchestra show in Boston, because we do that too. Like, we do orchestral arrangements of our Boyz II Men songs with like a 60-piece orchestra and a nice little, you know, people come out and they wear tuxedos and they dress up. Like, I see a lot of hip hop acts doing that. Yeah, Nas have done it. Jay-Z's done it. But we've been doing it for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So,
but it makes sense it makes sense for you from the group's perspective that would be the next transformation or kind of the involvement with the tuxedos. Rap is kind of a little bit different with that.
Yeah. But you tend to discover that even with hip hop music, for example, they use a lot of samples that once you put it in that format, it sounds just as good, or if not flyer, because it's like an actual live orchestra. And I feel like hip hop, just like R&B, it's real music. And you can tell that by if you can put an orchestra behind you. This is the difference between, I think, the music now.
Now, music genre-wise, like just hip-hop, R&B, just
period. Like, think about the songs that are out now and think about them being in that. No. That exactly. No. You put them in that environment.
Some artists are.
Not all. There's some, but a lot of this music, that honestly is a testament to me. If you can't, I have a philosophy. If you can't play a guitar or have something like an orchestra behind you to actually play your music or interpret your music, you might want to question what it is you're doing.
So let me step back. So 33 years. Last year was the 30th anniversary of 2, right?
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
30th anniversary.
Yeah.
So if I say these names to you, tell me what first comes to your mind. George Baldy, John Schultz, Marguerite Walker.
That's high school, man. That's those were actually the original members of Nate's group. Because Nate Mars, our group member, he put Boyz II Men together.
Right.
But before we came in, you and
Wanye.
Well, yeah, Wanye, Mike, and Mark Nelson.
Okay.
Because we were 5 at one point.
Okay, that's right.
But before us, he had George Baldy, John Schultz, and Marguerite. And they had a whole another group. Like it was their thing, but they all graduated. So Nate was kind of like, I ain't got no other group members. So he recruited Mark. He was the first one. They saw Wanye sing. Now, mind you, Wanye's a year younger than me, so he came in after me, but they didn't even know that I could sing.
Really?
Nah.
So but you were all at the same high school.
We were at the same high school, Creative and Performing Arts in South Philly.
Right.
And he was doing his thing with Marguerite and all those other guys, and they graduated. And I was there for a year. And, you know, I was a geek. I was a nerd. You know what I mean? I wasn't hanging with the cool kids. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of in the same classes and the same choirs, but I was in a tuck. Like, I didn't really, make any noise. Mm-hmm. And which is why Wanye got into the group first before me, because it was him and Mark, and then the other guys graduated, and then I was there for that year, and Wanye came in 87, and I was already there in 86. Wanye, they heard Wanye's audition. They was like, oh no, he coming in.
Right.
And how I got in was there was a solo part that my teacher, Mr. Donald Dumpson, gave me.
Double D.
Yeah, you're right. Double D.
Double D.
Double D.
Right.
That he just gave me. He saw the potential in me that I didn't see. And he was like, you're singing this. I said, fuck, I want to sing this. Excuse my language. Do I say I don't want to cuss? But I was like, yo, I want to sing this. I was an introvert. So I'm practicing or whatever. All right, fine. I did it. All right. I sang your solo. You happy? That type of attitude. So we all in the choir. He said, Shawn, on stage. I was like, so it was a gospel song. BB and CC Winans, Love Said Not So. Life was bitter to the core. There was nothing to live for until love came. Even second times around, happiness cannot be found until love came. Right. So I did all of that.
Right.
So again, nobody knew in the choir that I existed. So when I got on stage and sang, everybody was like this.
Oh, but you were in the choir. So how did they not know? If you were in the choir, I don't understand that.
It's 75 of us.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So your voice just blended in with everybody else.
And then you had, again, the cool kids and the gospel singers that's loud and hitting riffs and all that other stuff. I wasn't that dude. So I just kind of like sat and, oh, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? And then when I did the solo, right after that, Nate walks up to me, yo, man, want to be in my group? And I said, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that was it.
Wow.
That was it.
And so that formation, how does that, and walk me through this a little bit, the process of kind of getting to 1991 when the first release to the album came out, kind of how that process. How does that work? Because I know how it works from a basketball perspective.
Yeah.
You get recruited, you go play, find an agent,
right.
You get that. With that part of it, how does that? And I know the story about, with Michael Bivins and everything like that. So is that really how it went down?
Some of it is true, some of it isn't. Some of it was made for TV.
Right.
But just to give you a brief, because it's a long process, but we sang for Mike Bivins backstage at a radio station event. This is when they were announcing the group Bell Biv DeVoe. Like those three were going to do something together. And we happened to catch them right before they were about to leave. And first we asked Ricky, could we sing for him? And he said, oh, y'all got to get a demo tape. And we was like, oh, man, bunk that. So we walked up to Mike. And coincidentally, we didn't know that 6 months prior, he was given a production deal with Motown. So he was already looking for acts. He was on the hunt. So we was like, yo, can we sing for you? He was like, can you sing now? I said, yeah. So we sang for him. He loved it. We sang Can You Stand the Rain? He loved it. We exchanged numbers. And it took a year, because that was in 89. So it took a year practically for us to get the deal signed, get records made. And in the midst of that, trying to figure out our image. We were writing songs for Another Bad Creation, and
really,
yeah. We sang like if you listen to Aisha, and Playground in particular, that's our backgrounds.
Really,
that's us. So we were, that's us.
Yeah,
that's us singing. You know what I'm saying? So,
really?
So we did that, and just kind of staying busy while the label was trying to figure out what to do with us, because they didn't know what to do. Like just a bunch of 4 dudes with bow ties on and whatnot. They were like, we don't know what to do with you. And we sang a cappella. So it was kind of a new type of thing. So it took a year for them to get repertoire, find a producer, which became Dallas Austin. He recorded most of the record and co-wrote some of the stuff with us, because a lot of the songs we already had prepared. He just produced them. And 91 of May is when we dropped Motown Philly.
Motown Philly.
Yep. And the rest is history.
When you look back at that time, though, just think about how much time has passed, how much you've accomplished over that. Is there something you take out of that time period of the first, when it happened, like the first time? I remember when I got drafted and I played my first game after my holdout. It's like surreal. It's a lot of moments I remember. It's a lot of moments I forget.
Yeah. 100%.
But is there anything that kind of stands out to you in that first period of time after Motown Philly?
I think the thing that stood out the most was how quickly we became successful. Like when that happens, it kind of it distorts your reality to some degree. Meaning, you think that that's how it always supposed to be. Like we don't have one of those sob stories where you hear about bands or groups. Yeah, we were together 20 years before we got a deal. Like we formed a group, as the world knows it, 6 months before we met Biv and sang for him, got signed, dropped the record, and blew up. It was almost like kismet. You know, it was one of those things where everything just happened. Boom, 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 boom. So we kind of just got used to the energy of having a single out and being successful, because first out, boom, it was an explosion. We were on MTV, we were on BET. We went on a tour with Hammer in '92. Right after that, wow. And Jodeci and TLC. So it was a crazy whirlwind, because everything was just, once it started, it didn't stop. And even back then, like we went on this thing called a promotional tour. For those kids that don't know what a promotional tour is when you actually go out from state to state and you visit radio stations and you do little gigs in small rinky-dink whack clubs with, it's 4 of us and only 2 microphones work. You got one mic stand that's flimsy. That's right. The stage is about this big, and we're doing like high energy level dance steps, because that's what we taught. We got to always go hard 100%. And what's funny is that's where a lot of, I guess, the discipline comes that correlates with being an athlete. It's a discipline that we were taught within that period of us coming out. We were rehearsing, we were practicing, we were conditioning vocally, physically, the whole 9 yards for us to eventually perform. And it's very similar to what you had to do when you got drafted. The training then started, and all of the conditioning, mentally and physically. You had to get yourself geared up to perform on a big stage, because the NBA is the big stage. So
the big difference though, my money's guaranteed.
That is true.
And that's what, from a musician's perspective, I respect, because not only in 1991 did you were able to drop Motown Philly and Cooley High Harmony, but then you came back in 94 with 2.
Yeah.
But then that 3-year period, you grew, you learned, and you can tell the difference, the growth between the first album and 2. Yeah. Like really Boyz II Men grew up those 3 years. So that transition of, okay, you can either get caught up and not be able to make that second? Because that second one is a lot. Was it more pressure?
Yeah,
How much more pressure was on that second album?
It's called the sophomore slump. Like,
exactly.
Anybody can catch a wave with their first album when people are excited to see you, but it's harder to come back with something else that people are interested in. So it's the same thing with, again, athletes, basketball players, who catch a wave and capture the public's curiosity and all of that. You got to be able to be consistent within your whole career in order for you to not only just put the numbers up, but to gain that Hall of Famer, type of respect where people see you and have conversations about you. You got to put the work in. So yeah, it was tough, but again, we were on we were focused, and shout out to Mike Bivens for instilling that animal in us to not stop working. I think it benefited us that we went straight from one album to the next, from touring to the next record. We didn't stop. And it's just like anything else. It's muscle memory. You're just going in the studio and doing what you've always done. And, with the 2 album, we knew what we wanted to do. We knew how we wanted to do it. And we just executed what we thought of. And we were constantly in the studio writing records and rehearsing and coming up with ideas and concepts and the whole 9 yards.
Well, but it's interesting because I just love music. You know that from our interactions. And listening to Cooley High Harmony, and I love I love the remix of that. Okay, the remix is dope. But the tenor of the songs on 2 was just different. Now, was that a collective thought process with the group and Mike, or did Mike and management come to you and say, you know what, in order for 2 to kind of be this, we need more mature music?
Well, the interesting part about Mike's involvement is that he was only involved in Cooley High Harmony.
That was it.
He put that together. He put together the concept. He put together our image, and we ran with that. And after that, the 2 album was on us. It was on us.
Really?
It was on us and the label. It was a collaboration literally between us and the label, and us putting the music together and knowing exactly how we wanted to put it together, learning the business and understanding how to move in those offices to get what we need to get done and all of those things. Like, we were sponges. Like, we took everything that we learned from that first project and just applied it through the second project. And all of that was us. It was us, our management, and the record label. And that was it. And we just got it in. It was Wanye's idea to get with Tim Kelly and Bob Robinson. Tim and Bob, 2 great producers who produced for Case and Cisco. They did the Thong Song and all the other stuff. So they were just new and up and comers at the time. And we just loved their sound. So they did majority of that record. Troy Taylor and Charles Farrar, L.A. Reid, obviously Babyface, Jammin' Lewis, those guys. And we just got in and created what we did. That was it. But that was mostly us and the label.
Really?
Biv had nothing to do with just the first record.
So, I mean, with that perspective too, how challenging is it? I don't know. It's like one of those things too where all of this success comes quickly. Again, now the second album is just like, boom, you get, was it End of the Road for Grammy?
Yeah. End of the Road was in 93. Okay. So that was, well, the win was in 93. End of the Road came out in 92 for, it was a song on a soundtrack called Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. So Face presented that record to us. And the funny story about that is the label didn't want us to do it.
Why? Because it was just a
cover? We don't know.
Really?
We don't know why they kind of was opting out. No, the boys shouldn't do that. And Biv kind of, and he could tell you the story better, but he practically tricked the label to get us to do it. Because he felt the song was great, and we did too. And it was our first time working with Babyface and L.A. and Daryl Simmons. So he got us in there, got us in the studio. We were on tour with Hammer at the time. We took a day off, went to Philadelphia, recorded the record, took about 3 hours to do, and left. And then while we were on tour, That thing just
blew up.
It went crazy to the point where we had to implement it in the show.
So what do you think it was about that song? I mean, you know what I mean? Especially at that time, slow song. And again, slow songs back then were part of it.
Yeah, that was it.
But that particular song, why do you think that song resonated so much? And not just with us, with just music and people, cross generations, cross color lines, whatever it was. Why do you think that song in particular?
With music, it's all about timing. Like it's really about the stars are lining. You know, I'm trying to be weird with it, but like we were at our height. Even before End of the Road, I think we were at 7 million records. Mm-hmm. So we already captured the attention of the public. Babyface at the same time was doing his thing. So with his solo records and him writing songs for other people, so he was doing his thing. Yeah. So now it was that collaboration that I think people first off got excited about. Then it was a classic Babyface record. Like, you know, we were already just high off of the stuff that he recorded for himself and other people. So his sound and his algorithm was already out there. So put that together with a group that people are loving right now and not downplaying the performance, because we sang our hearts out in it. You felt the soul into it because, one, in the process of us recording it, we wanted to impress these guys. It was our first time meeting these dudes that we loved and listened to on our personal time. So it wasn't about it being nervous or anything like that. We were performers. Like, again, we were like going in like, yo, we're going to kill this. So we went in and we sang our asses off, and it resonated and it connected. And that's really all it is. It's the connection that it was easy to understand. And again, those guys wrote the hell out of that record, and we tried to be the greatest vehicles for it possible. And we sang our hearts out on that joint, and we went home or rather went back on the road and just kind of left it there. But somehow it just captured, it connected with people, and it connects with people to this day. And that's the true, I guess, marking of a great record. Like when it's going to last longer than you, that's when you know you got something. Yeah, no, and that's the longevity part of it too. And as you continue to grow, and you see it resonate too with athletes too. It's a performance. Yeah, like the Michael Jordan shot over Craig Hilo. Yeah, will never get old. It'll never get old. You know, and it's whether it's. I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so Lynn Swann makes this acrobatic catch. Yeah. Love Lynn Swann. I mean, we from Philly, so you know. Philly, so it's funny how the two kind of cross over with a lot of the same ingredients on how it resonates with the fan, the consumer, whatever it may be, to a moment when you can go back and say, I remember this. And when I hear the song or I see the play, it's nostalgic enough. Yeah, it's nostalgic, that you got it. Yeah. And, and I look at the growth too. So from there, you're talking about opening up and starting to do collaborations, whether that's with LL, with Mariah. I know you got this was very interesting to me when you did a cover for Yesterday. You got a letter from Paul McCartney. That's right. Who originally wrote it and sung it. Yeah. And what did he say? Well, he wrote Paul McCartney from the Beatles. Yeah, from the Beatles. This is when telegrams was a thing. And he sent us a telegram, and I don't know where that is. I'm sure Nate has it somewhere in his archives. Have that. We call him the Oracle. Nate keeps all of the Boyz II Men archival, stuff. So he might have it. But he said he was coming from dinner, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said he was coming from dinner, and him and his wife Linda at the time, who was alive, and they got into the car and they turned on the radio. And they heard our rendition of his song. And he said, I had to send you guys a letter. He said, that was one of the best renditions I've ever heard of our record in our lives. And they said he wanted to thank you. He thanked us. He wanted to say thank you. It's beautiful. And we met him and Linda, like not too far after that. Yeah, it was at MTV in London. And they were doing like some cooking stuff or whatever, but they were there. And we introduced ourselves, and he was like, really love your work. It's really good.
And for those that don't understand the Beatles, the impact they had in the 60s by London, right? Mm-hmm. Band that came over. Liverpool that came over from the UK and kind of changed, was it the rock and roll part of bands in the US?
Yes, 100%. They call it the British invasion.
Yes.
And what's crazy is that if you know the story of the Beatles, all the Beatles listened to was black music. That's all they listened to, because at that time, black music was really being frowned upon here in the United States. It was the devil's music. So they shipped a lot of that music over to the UK. Okay. So those white boys in the UK that want to be a band like them, the Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, all those guys, Eric Clapton, they'll all tell you that their heroes were black R&B and blues musicians. So they were connected, which is why it sounded so amazing in America when all they was doing was black music. Right.
And it makes Shawn, and it makes sense of why the music scene in London today is so, from a, I think, variety perspective, and I use a better word for it, but if you go to London now, you can get any and everything from a music perspective.
100%. They're more eclectic and more open-minded than us.
Yes.
Because they don't give a crap. They don't care about color and all the other stuff. If the music is dope, they mess with it.
They mess with it.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's so when you get those types of compliments, or when you hear Elton John tell you that they're huge fans of yours, and they listen. They listen. They listen and they appreciate it for the musicality of it. And that's all that matters. And that's all we wanted to do. Like as black dudes growing up in the ghettos of Philly, like we understood the segregated part of what music tends to represent. Oh, if you do this, then black people can only do this. You can only be categorized as this. And as a kid, like I said, I was a geek. I grew up listening to the Carpenters and Christopher Cross and Alan Parsons Project and all that others like you know what I mean? Yes. Like outside of Run DMC, LL, KRS-One, Juice Crew, and all those other, like I was all across the board. I was across the board as a child.
Yeah.
So meeting three other guys that felt the same way I did, I was like, yo, we don't want to be just an R&B band. We want to be a group that everybody loved and appreciated, which is why I think it resonated with black, white, or other, because our sensibilities expanded further than just R&B music.
Did that help? Because we all have challenges, okay, within a group dynamic. I don't care if it's at work, if it's sports, whatever it is. You see it all the time with bands that are together that break up. I don't care if it's hip hop. Shout out to the Locks for staying together as long as they have, without having any kind of riffs or problem. And that's difficult to do, right?
And still doing solo projects.
And still doing solo projects, but yet, I mean, that's a testament to how difficult was that, one, from a group perspective. The dynamics of a group. When you have individual goals you want to set for yourselves and get, okay, one, and that goes into what are the biggest challenges being in that group dynamic when you have performers. Is there a competition too within the group?
That I hate to sound boring, but we never had those problems.
Really?
No, because everybody had their own superpower. Wanye did Wanye, and everybody knows what Wanye is known for doing. I'm not doing that.
You're not doing it.
Like, I do what I do. And everybody knows me for doing what I do. Mike, at the time, with his voice. Wasn't nobody doing that.
Wasn't nobody doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
wasn't nobody with that deep. Nobody.
And Nate was basically the utility dude, outside of him also being the guy that wanted to make sure that we were straight. So he took on the business part of it more so than everybody else. So he made sure. So everybody had their roles. It's like the Avengers. Like, Hawkeye ain't trying to fly like Thor. Like, he can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did what he did. So we never really had that problem. If anything, we were more supportive of what it is that we did. Like, you should do that more, or you should kind of just giving each other advice from a fan's perspective. Because being in that group, you're a fan of the people that you're in the group with. So you like, yo, that's dope. You should do X, Y, and Z. So we never had those issues, man. I know that doesn't sound provocative enough for most people, but if anything, we had more issues with people from the outside. Meaning, as I mentioned, we gained a lot of success. We sold over 60 million records, and you can't sell that many records to just black people, right?
You can't go platinum with just black people.
Yeah.
You can't do it.
You can't do it. Like, there's a certain level that you can do, like platinum, double platinum, maybe even triple. But after you get out of that, you're appealing to other people. Mm-hmm. And because of that, our own people would, yeah, man, they sellouts, man. They said, I'm telling you, like,
sellout, like what? Like, why? What was the premise behind being the sellout?
You got to ask them, because.
I mean, but what did you hear? I mean, what was the
type of music y'all doing? Like, like just honestly, I hate to say it, but like hater shit. Like the shows that we were in, the shows that we were on, you see, four black people smiling, they instantly think, oh, look at them.
Yeah.
They sold out. They doing this, they rubbing elbows with that person, the whole 9 yards. When it's not selling out, it's really people hating and really not understanding. And these are industry people. And industry people not understanding what we're doing is really helping them out, because once we're in those doors, it allows everybody else to walk in behind us. And this is what our whole objective was. Like, we wanted to take things to another stage and to show that black music isn't monolithic. Like, we can do any and everything and still maintain our blackness. Jimmy, you know me. So it ain't nothing for me to prove as far as like the type of person I am. You understand what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing to do with that. But again, we had more resistance from people in the industry that had their opinions about us because we weren't hood enough, because we didn't wear our pants down off our ass and get in trouble or get into, like, it's some weird, some weird camaraderie with our folks that if you ain't thugging or if you ain't doing something crazy,
you ain't repping
you ain't repping the culture. You understand what I'm saying?
How much is that? How much is that? You think the success of New Edition? Okay, because of and of course they were earlier. Late 70s, early 80s, stuff like that. They still resonate to this day. I mean, but they 100%. Have a different. Their demographic is different in what they reach. How much of that you think, and is there a competition between different groups? Because New Edition kind of set the standard on boy groups. Yeah. But they kind of had their own lane. Yeah. And I don't know if it's spread out as much as yours. Yeah. You may have resonated Boyz II Men more with the general population, where theirs is more segmented. Yeah, yeah. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of it has to do with the music, and then a lot of it has to do with the dynamic of the group within itself. Prime example of that, though, is Bob, right? Bob left the group and sold more records than his group. He was still Bobby Brown.
Right.
But somehow he managed to understand something that his group as a collective didn't, which is why when they were on tour, and by the way, Bobby Brown will be on my podcast.
Way to plug it. What's the name of the podcast? Tell them the podcast.
The podcast is called On That Note.
Yeah, On That Note. Okay.
With Shawn Stockman, and Bobby Brown actually talks about this. We talk about how his mentality changed once he went solo, because he understood the mistakes the group made as a collective, went on his own, and did the exact opposite, which is why Bobby Brown sold 50 million records.
Wow. Say that again.
50 million records, and New Edition sold maybe a tenth.
Wow.
And a lot of times that's what that is. And shout out to New Edition. They're one of the greatest groups on the entire planet Earth. But I think that a lot of what happens in a group's dynamic is lack of vision. They don't really understand.
Is that part management too, though? Because the group can have one thing, but if management doesn't have the vision to where to steer this group.
A manager can only be as good as the artist he has.
All right.
Period. Like it's just like an agent for an athlete.
That's true.
You understand what I'm saying?
Agent can only do so much.
They can only do so much. Like they're not in the limelight. They're not putting up the points. They're not on the hardwood. You have to do what you have to do in order for your agent
to go do what he needs to do.
To do what he has to do. Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's like, agents and managers, if you have one that obviously some that are reputable, it allows you to go through certain doors. That's the same thing with agents. They have better relationships with GMs and companies.
Rich Paul got the hammer when LeBron was leveraged. He can leverage a lot.
He can walk in any door. You know what I'm saying? But it's because of the work that his boy put in. Mm-hmm. That's really it goes hand in hand. So going back to your question, competition thing is fodder for the fans. Like the fans love to compete and say who's better and who's this and who's that. And to be honest, none of us feed into that because one is I know as far as my group's perspective, we don't compare ourselves to anybody. And this is not a flex. There is no comparison.
Currently,
is
there? We had the old school groups back in the 50s and 60s that were just, whether that's Temptations.
Temptations and Four Tops, for example.
Tops, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they had a friendly competition because one, they were on the same label and they had the same producers, they had the same songwriters. So yes, honestly, they were probably more in competition with each other, like in real life, because they had to make sure that they one-upped the other being in the same system. So, but it was friendly still. Like it was still, and they marketed that way. Like, so it was kind of like, and even with us and Jodeci, right? Like a lot of people like to compare who's better and things of that nature. And it's really all a matter of taste. Music is subjective. Like, what one person may like, another person may not. And that's your opinion. That's your prerogative and that's your choice. But as far as the both groups is concerned, we were all boys. Like there was no like animosity or any bitter hatred or anything like that. But you had Team Boyz II Men and you had Team Jodeci and everybody would ride for their group and that whole thing. Yeah. And if anything, it benefited both groups. But the truth is we both respected each other. I respect New Edition. I respect Jodeci. I respect these guys for doing what they do. But the truth of the matter is we're all different and we all represent different parts of the same body. And that's the way I look at it.
It's the growth part of it too. And I look at it because the longevity, it's all about, and this is what I always say about musicians and about music. As an athlete, I have an expiration date as far as what I can do.
Right.
Now, you can go play in the big three right now. Don't get me wrong. You can still play.
Right.
But on that top tier level, my date, once I'm done playing, I'm done playing.
Yeah.
Once I get 50, I'm out.
Right.
The beauty about musicians to me, especially when you have timeless music, when you have something iconic, or even if maybe you're not the Boyz II Men or the Mariah Careys or whoever it may be, you still can go out and perform and still command an audience.
Yeah.
That's the beautiful thing about I see with musicians is that you don't have to come out with new music.
No.
When you have that fan base built in.
That's true. That's where the work ethic on both entities, the artist and the management, comes in. Because there was a time where people weren't checking for us. Like after, I think it was around 97, 98, I think people were just tired. They wanted to go somewhere else. They wanted to shift. And again, music is subjective.
So how did it make you feel at the time?
Oh, useless. Because we were on top of the world not too long ago. And then people are literally telling you, because we had a songwriter at the time, a famous songwriter who we know who he is. I'm not going to mention his name, but he was like, you know what y'all should do? Y'all should just gracefully bow out.
Really?
Yeah.
So this is 3 years removed from 94, from 2 Grammys, all of this.
All of that.
3 years removed. You're telling me
that I should just go somewhere and die. And like when you hear that, you're like, damn, that's kind of jacked
cold,
up.
bro.
I mean, my voice still works. Like I'm trying to figure out like why do I got to go somewhere and just disappear? But that's the emotional connection that people have with music, and you got to understand that. You don't understand it when you're going through it at the time, but music is personal. So a lot of people take things personal when it comes to certain things. That's why it's such a big backlash, for example, with this whole Kendrick and Drake thing or whatever. Like it's emotion.
It really is emotion
that drives people to say, I don't like this guy or I don't like that guy. But the truth is, they're both great musicians. They're both talented artists, and they both
have different lanes.
And they can both. That's my point. They can coexist together if one, they stay out of each other's way, and do what they're known for doing. They can both exist. They can both work. So again, you have to understand that though, but it's rough at first. You're not feeling as confident as you used to because people are tired of listening to you.
Does that put more pressure? Say you want to get in the studio, you want to start writing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How much more pressure? Before you can write freely, mind, and say, really with the song. Now you feel the pressure of the pen to be able to say, okay, now we need a hit.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas before you were writing to make great music, right?
And that's the worst place to be in when it comes to writing. Like when you have subconsciously everybody else's opinions, that's when you mess up. And that's when you do things that you shouldn't be doing. You trying to catch what kids now go viral and try to catch a wave and all this other stuff where instead of just being yourself, you're trying to be everybody else. And we went through that period. We went through that period of trying to find our own identity in the changing music industry till we got to a point where we were like, man, fuck it. Like, let's just be ourselves. And we didn't record for a while. I mean, or if we did, we recorded music that we liked. We released it, didn't do well. It's all good. We have fun. And it takes a while though to get there from people liking you to then people not saying, I don't like them no more. I'm tired of hearing them. I'm tired of hearing that damn end of the road. Like I heard it a million times. Like we heard all of that.
But you came in between there though, because Hey Lover was after that.
Yeah.
So you dropped, I mean, it's still to this day, it's still banging,
Yeah.
So even though you were out of the light, every now and then it pops up with something here just to kind of keep.
Yeah. And we did that. Like, and we've been doing it. Like just last year we won the competition for the Masked Singer. Like we did that last year. Like we were like 3 buffaloes and whatnot and sang and won that. And that's a big show. So it was like Juan was on Dance with the Stars and we would do like little things. Like we did like stuff for How I Met Your Mother and Blackish. And, we just kept ourselves busy at the same time, still performing and still keeping ourselves sharp performance wise, where we can still perform anywhere. We just did the Essence Festival.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but it takes time. Like if you can ride out the transition, and especially if you made a big impact, the music industry works in cycles. And this is what people don't understand. People love what they love. They don't love it anymore. Then they love it again. It's weird, but it's just the way it is. It is so funny how kids, my daughter, Brooklyn, who 15 years old, is into Wu-Tang.
Crazy. Like
she loves Wu-Tang. She loves Wu-Tang. She loves MF Doom. Like she's listening to old school hip hop. And I'm like, this isn't my influence. She's discovering it on her own. So she's like, Daddy, can I play my playlist and while we drive? Yeah. And she'll pump some old boom bap. And I'm sitting there like, where'd you learn that? And these kids are discovering this on their own. Again, it's coming back around because it always comes back around. If it's good music, it might lay dormant for a second because people are transitioning to something new. And that's human. That happens. We all change. But one thing that remains constant is good music. Just like, again, you one of the greatest basketball players ever lived, Jimmy. So you've seen a lot of that transition too in sports, especially in the NBA. I'm a fan of basketball, right? I've never played any professional ball in my life, but I'm emotionally connected with it because I played street ball and, I love the sport. And I think what's coming back around, you can correct me, is I think people are tired of the current status of the specifically the NBA. Like, it's become less about the players per se and more about the image of it. Like, for example, the 3-ball thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's literally changed the algorithm of the game. Like, back in the 90s, it was about that blue collar work.
Oh yeah, post work.
Yeah,
inside out.
Inside out.
Mid-range game.
Mid-range, slam dunks, aggression, physical defense, the whole 9 yards. And the NBA got away from that. And my opinion, I think it hurt them.
Well, I'm gonna stop you there. It helped because it grew the game internationally and for a whole new crop of people that came in to see the game. Because David Stern understood that in order to grow this game, to get TV rights in Africa and China and India, the game had to change. It couldn't be this physical. It needed to score more. You see it in baseball, you need more home runs. In football, you need more touchdowns and more passing. So the running back became irrelevant. So I think it had its place in time to change. But I think this year with OKC and with Indiana, deep teams, not relying on the 3-ball, defensive minded, still want to get out and run, but can operate in half court. Like you talked about, kind of coming back. Using bigs inside.
It's coming back around.
It comes back. You know what's interesting? I saw, Shawn, that they did this thing. I don't know where the statistic was. These groups that were back in the day are now coming together and touring and are selling out more than, whether that's hip hop or R&B, are selling out more than the current music environment.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and I'm watching that and I'm just like,
because at the end of the day, Jimmy, when it comes to a show, we want to see a show.
You want to see a show, bro. You don't want to
see a fool just standing on stage or walking back and forth singing over a vocal track. That's not a performance. Just like, again, going back to back, if I saw another 3-pointer, I was going to throw the remote at the television set. I'm so tired. I was so tired. You could ask Sharon. We would watch the game like, yo, I'm out, man. I'm not watching this no more. It's no one's physical anymore. Even down to the actual physiques of the players. Like, you were, you know what I mean? You were a big dude. You had muscles. You know what I'm saying? And because you being
but that was the game then.
But that was the game. But my point is I think it's the reason why it's not as alluring. Again, it's my opinion. I'm a fan of the game. Right? But
you old.
I'm old.
You old.
And so I've seen the the Chris Webbers and the Jordans and the bad boys and all that other stuff. So I'm used to seeing that type of physicality in the NBA. I remember Shaq, we used to tell me like stories about how the stuff we don't see, like when he's under the rim, dudes is tugging at his balls and elbowing them and the whole 9 yards, like really getting at him. He's like, dude, it's physical out there. I'm used to big ticket, and then, his whole mentality and the whole 9 yards. Like I grew up on that but that's the essence of basketball. I think so. And I think that's why it's coming back, because everybody's not meant to be Steph. Steph does that. He's the greatest shooter the NBA has ever seen. And that's his wheelhouse. And you got a couple others that's good at it too. But the point is that, and there's always one guy that changes the game. There's always one character that changes the game, whether culturally or literally. Yeah. And Steph was one of those guys, but it just ruined it. for a fan, as a fan of the NBA.
Let me bring it back to music, and I'm going to tell you why it's a correlation here.
Okay.
Because growing up in the 80s and 90s, you were at that formative age where watching sports, watching music, whether that's watching television with the Jeffersons, whether it's what's happening, those moments stick with you because you were growing through the formative time in your years. So you always go back to that, even when you get older. The game changes. You're like, man, back. Same thing with music. Music, to me, you can go back and play certain songs, and it takes you back to a certain time in your life,
yes, sir.
A period of time, good or bad, and it's nostalgic. Now, as the game itself and like music, I can't be mad at some of these young guys the way they play because that's all they know.
I get it.
And the beauty of it is when they learn to appreciate what's come before them. And you can do both. You can love, and that's it. You can love what's going on now, but don't disrespect.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's the thing that correlates with the music. Just like you said, like I encourage innovation. Keep changing it. Keep switching it up. Do all that other stuff. But you got to understand that the things that were done for you before is how you pull it to this. You have to go back in history. You have to understand what made the game what it is in order for you to innovate and go back and do something different. It's the same reason why, for example, Beyonce is successful, not just because of what she does now, but the legacy she created. Legacy means something that has longevity. And Beyonce has not been shy with telling, I'd reach back. She's Tina Turner. She's Etta James. She's Aretha Franklin. She's artists that you've heard before. That's why she's successful, because it's something that you've seen before.
Her energy is like Janet.
You've already connected with it. So it's the same thing with basketball, same thing with music. You cannot go forward if it's that, what's that phrase?
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Or you can't move forward without understanding the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, or something like that. You know what I mean? So you have to connect with the past. Like, it's no way that you can make the game greater without understand what made the game great. Like it's one of those things where with music, like, again, I encourage artists to keep pushing the envelope and doing different things, but don't take the counsel from the OGs who's trying to teach you. Okay, cool. You got this hot record. Don't you want to last longer than 3 summers? Somebody's got to teach you that.
So you talked about the longevity and coming back. Do you see music coming back to where you saw groups and bands really coming back and being at the forefront again, or is it still going to be fragmented?
I hope so, but it has to start. It has to change infrastructurally first.
Like, from up top.
Yeah. Like the way the industry and the way we as people consume music now has changed so much. The experience of buying music
has changed.
It's changed. Like
going to the record store, bro.
Going to a record store. Going in line and buying the CD and ripping out the cardboard.
No, going back to the album. Back to the album when they had the actual lyrics on the inside,
the liner notes, the thank yous,
yes.
all the, taking 20 minutes for you to drip off the plastic because they wrapped that shit like it was like you sitting there like this, you trying to burn off the plastic to hold it, and then once you got it open, you put the CD in the CD player. You put it on the CD player, you hit play, you opened up the liner notes, you saw what your favorite artist was wearing, the whole night. It was an experience to buy music. Nowadays, it's just boop,
click it,
and that's it. So, infrastructurally, the experience has to change because, again, yes, things do change, but there are certain things in order to acquire a certain level of success, it has to stay the same. There is a basis. There is a foundation to everything. Music, the NBA, MLB, the whole 9 yards.
It is.
So, and that's all I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying don't shoot the 3 ball. Just don't shoot the 3 ball all damn game. Jesus.
So if a dude shoot it 18 times, dudes shoot 18 times And 11 of those 18 shots, 12 of those 18 shots would be threes.
Jimmy, you're an announcer. You're
I know, trust
you've
me.
seen it.
You've
You've literally seen a team on the break. Right? With
spread
transition.
Spread out the three.
And got the clear lane.
But that's how they being. But that's how they being taught, though.
No,
I know. But that's what I'm saying.
Go to the bucket. 2 points is better than 0.
Well, we saw that in the championship. Those twos add up, right? And speaking of twos adding up, with you in the group and all the success, that's allowed you to also pursue your own individual stuff, whether that's on TV and now. This is the second time from a solo perspective. You talked about it earlier about that within the group, you still can have the opportunity to do your solo project. I know that's something near and dear with you. That's why I wanted you to bring the guitar. Yeah. You can pick that thing up if you want to.
Oh Lord!
Come on, pick that thing.
I really don't know what this man was.
So I don't know if you remember when you and Sharonda was getting married, and we're back in Toledo. They got married in Toledo because Sharonda, I grew up, his wife.
That's right.
And we had the party at the house, and I said, "Man, you gotta come to the piano and play this song." So it was doing just fine, and you got on the piano and played the piano. I said, bro, if I was a chick, the draws would have been yours right now. When you start playing on the piano. But the solo part, and you really got into the guitar. I know that's one of the things that you love to do instrumental-wise. What makes the guitar so special to you? Oh, that right there, huh?
Okay, but yeah, so
cool, man. So
piano was my first
instrument
that I learned because it was one of those things that when you're in like school, there's always a piano around.
Yeah,
so
always a piano.
Yeah. So as a musician, you always So I started playing that first, and then I started playing. I've always wanted to play the guitar, but I started as a kid, but then just lost interest. The teacher wasn't inspiring enough, I guess. But
it goes back to the teacher, the people.
It really is. But I picked it back up at 42 years old, and I was like, you know what? I was in my what they call it, the fuck it 40s.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you kind of like just go, you know what? Fuck it. And I literally slept with this thing. And now we incorporate it in our live shows and stuff. So, this is one of those things where it's easy to carry. It's especially for a songwriter.
Can't carry a piano?
It's a little hard. It's a little hard to carry
a piano, right?
You can't put it in the overhead bin.
No, not at all.
The player. But yeah, it's easy to carry and it just sounds beautiful. I've always loved the sound of a piano.
See, that's the thing. Hoops all you want. When musicians get to sing it, it's over, bro. Yeah. See, because you control the emotions of a crowd so much. I was able to see Sade, her last tour, and the way she controlled with a 3-piece band, but the stage production. But she took you from this high where you're up and you're dancing to this where it's quiet as a pin drop.
Yeah.
And I had goosebumps.
No, it is one of the greatest feelings to be on stage and to know that you can positively manipulate a person's feelings just with how you bend the air. Because that's all sound is, just bending
in the air.
You know what I'm saying? And in the room. Oh, sorry. And you know, when you understand that power, you don't take it for granted. Again, that's why I look at people funny, or musicians in particular, when they're like, "Oh man, I'm just a musician. I don't force people to do anything." To some degree, you do.
You do.
To some degree, you do. It's the reason why there's playlists for different occasions. Whether it's making love, whether it's your workout playlist, whether it's your celebration playlist, whether it's your funeral playlist, your heartbreak playlist. Like you are a I guess, emotion monger. You know what I'm saying? In the sense of what is played through the speakers is how people are going to feel. That's why you can't go to a hip hop concert and play Metallica. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a reason. So I enjoy what I do, Jimmy. I love what I do. Me and the guys still love what we do, and we don't take it for granted, which is why we're still in it. Like, this was never a hustle for us. This was never a thing we were just doing to make money or to catch a wave or to go viral. And by the way, you know, viral, one of the words in viral is virus, right? You don't necessarily want to always be a virus, because there's two things that happens to viruses. Either the virus spreads and it kills everybody, or you kill the virus.
Or you kill the virus.
So it's okay to be viral, but guys, that's not what makes a career. You got to have some substance. You got to have music that connects with all people and not just a certain group of people. A lot of people tend to really misconstrue that in the business, in industry people. I hear them talk about it all the time, extrapolate about what black music is and what this music is and things of that nature. And let's be clear, black music is everything, because we invented everything. So if you got a black person that wants to play punk, play it. If you want to play country, play it. If you want to play hip hop, play it. R&B, play it. Pop music, play it. It's cool. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do something, because that's the beginning of your demise right there. You stopping, you're blocking your own blessing. So that's what we as a group has always encouraged. That's what I as an individual will always encourage. And I will always try to make sure that the younger kids that's coming up understands that it's a big world out here. Bigger than your hood.
Much bigger.
And not to mention there are hoods everywhere. There are hoods in Toledo. There are hoods in Paris. So don't you want to connect with all of them? It's a nice caveat.
Nah, man.
You know what I mean?
The wisdom, the knowledge has been, phenomenal. And that's the reason why I wanted to get you on, because I know it's so much more in depth to who you are, who the group is currently, all the transitions that you guys had to make. If everybody sees the success part, they don't understand the inner dynamics. And then the story about 97, about really having to dig deep when somebody told you you need to quit.
Yeah.
And how many times people get to that. But to be able to still do what you do individually and as a group has been phenomenal for me to be a part of and watch.
Yeah.
Continued success with that.
Jimmy, I appreciate you. And like I said, it's at this point in my life and my career, like I want to teach. That's all I want to do. I've been blessed to acquire a lot of understanding of the business of the game and how it correlates with life and how you can balance it all. And that's a lot of it is from mistakes I've made, from things that I've done and you know, bad decisions and all of that stuff that you still continue to do, but I do less of now.
But you know, you got scars for a reason, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you got scars. You know, it's funny because as I've gotten older, I've understood too the decisions I've made make me who I am.
Yeah.
Help me raise in fatherhood.
That's right.
Allows me to be a better father.
Yeah.
A better mentor, better friend. But without those scars, I can't expect, you know, a young person to make all the right decisions as long as it doesn't really hurt you and take you out and hurt other people. But you got to have those scars, man.
Yeah, you do.
You got to have them.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's just a testament of what you've gone through and what you've survived.
But you survived.
Because you're still alive. Like, you didn't die. So, you know, you've managed to get out of whatever rut you were in and still prosper. And that's all I want to do. At this point, I just want to, whether it's through example, whether it's conversations, whether it's a literal class, I want to be able to teach kids.
You should do that.
Yeah, I mean,
seriously, man.
It'd be nice.
You should. I mean, because you give so much, not just the music, but the understanding of how to make music, but how the business works, the business of making music, that part of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the other side of, you can hoop all day.
Right.
But you got to understand the business of playing basketball and what that means, what that interaction means, and how it plays in the longevity of your career.
I think that's what makes you a integral part of the NBA, whether people, you know, acknowledge that or not, because I listen to your broadcast or I watch the games that you broadcast on, and the articulation, the understanding, the intelligence that you bestow on the public, the viewer, comes from experience. It comes from your being a student of the game, understanding what it is to and knowing how to explain it to the dumbest person that's watching the game and have a better understanding of it. That's why I appreciate what you do. Like me and Ronnie be sitting in it.
I know Ronnie be sitting there. That boy don't know what he's talking about. I know Ronnie say that all the time.
Right. And she texts you occasionally sometimes while you're broadcasting.
Boy, you don't know if you're using them big words. Hey, so where can we get, what's the next thing before we get out of here, Boyz II Men? What's next this summer, going into the fall?
Yeah, well, we're always on the road, so check our Instagram and our website.
When is the Boston?
Boston is in a couple weeks, actually.
Is it? That's right. Just get it to
me.
Yeah.
I get it to you. But we're doing an orchestra in Boston. We're touring Europe in November. Paris, UK, Germany.
What?
Yeah.
In November?
In November,
That's
yeah.
during basketball season.
Late November,
so maybe
early
Boston,
December. Yeah, Boston.
That'd be dope to see the orchestra part.
It's dope.
What about the Cosmopolitan?
Cosmopolitan is August 8th and 9th. No, 9th and 10th. And then that following weekend. So we got 4 shows.
So 8th and the 9th, and then
that following weekend.
16th.
Yes, thank you. And then we're doing the Cosmo there.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. You know what it is.
Yeah. And I'll be coming back from home, so maybe on the way back.
It'll be fun. You know, right? You know, it's my wife's birthday.
That's right. Okay.
August 9th.
So and he got a special one. Let me tell you something right now. Just like my sister.
Yeah, this is his little sister. Like, this is sister.
She's older than me, but that's my little sister.
Oh, yeah,
but
right.
This one is special.
Right.
Ron, I love you to death, but you're special.
We'll keep it at that.
Keep it at that.
But yeah, so it's her birthday.
Okay.
So if you're able to make it, you know, we're
Are
having.
you gonna do something on that Saturday?
Or the 8th. We're having dinner at Beauty
and
Essex.
We're going home then.
Okay, but whatever. Come pull up. Wish you a happy birthday. See the show. We'll probably do something after the show anyway, like have a few drinks or something.
All right.
Depending on how she feels, because it's all about how she feels.
Ain't no question about that, Papa. Ain't no question about that.
And so Vegas those weekends, Boston. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to figure out any like special dates or something. If so, I'll let you know.
Let me know.
But we're definitely doing Europe in late November, early December, and it's crazy because there are some things in the works that I wish I could announce. I'll tell you off the air.
Yeah.
But if it does come to fruition, you'll be the first to know. Let your folks know and everybody that watches your pod. So if it happens, Lord willing, it'll happen. And
we're gonna put it in the air. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
We're gonna put it in there.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, brother.
JJ,
come on.
My God. Sorry about the screw ups on the guitar. I really didn't know what I was going to play.
No, but I like that. I didn't want to tell you.
Right.
I just wanted you to play because I mean, it was beautiful, man. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate
it. Now again, you invited me on, so I want to come on.
That's right.
Tell them about your podcast.
On that note, there's a podcast that I created about 4 months ago. Right now, it's currently #1 in music podcasts and Spotify and a couple other platforms. So I'm grateful about that. JJ's going to be a guest. So make sure you look out for that episode. We're going to figure out the schedule after these cameras cut off so he knows exactly when he's coming in.
That's right.
But,
on that note.
But yeah, we got B Brown coming up very soon. Again, his episode
bananas.
is amazing.
I know it's bananas.
It's
bro.
off the chain.
Come on.
And we got a couple others coming up that I don't want to mention, but they're coming soon. And check it out on Spotify. Apple, Google, and YouTube.
There we go.
And that's it.
There we go.
My guy.
Bravo to the legend.
Shout out to Philly. What's good?
And once again, you can catch the show at Jim Jackson Show, youtube.com, The Rich Eisen Show. But also, too, wherever you download any of your podcasts, please take a little time and download ours as well. Thanks again for tuning in to The Jim Jackson Show.